Welcome to Global News on Signature TV. I am Barry Kumo Ado. In the headlines, Serap asked Akpabio and Abbas to explain 1.3 billion naira budget allocation to fictitious presidential council. Peter Obi renews call for Tinubu to resign or drop 2027 re-election bid over insecurity. Israeli attacks on Gaza kill at least 6 people as ceasefire violations continue. And battle questions political power after Trump's FIFA phone call overturns match ban. Details in a moment.
Health is more than a diagnosis. It's your lifestyle, your choices, and your future. Join us on Inside Health, your weekly deep dive into the stories, science, and solutions shaping your well-being. From expert interviews to real-life journeys of healing and hope, we cover it all.
One of the complications of cancer management or treatment is they have some of them, at one point in time, you see them having anemia. Okay, so you see them at times being transfused. But at the same time, you come in with the diet.
Nutrition, mental health, innovations in medicine, fitness, and everyday wellness. Whether you're managing a condition, staying informed, or just living your best life, Inside Health is your trusted guide.
I'm Tigiti Agorum, and I'll be with you every week on Inside Health, only on Signature TV.
Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has asked Senate President Godswill Akpabio and the Speaker of the House of Representatives Tajuddin Abbas to explain how over 1.3 billion naira was allocated in the 2026 Appropriation Act to a presidential council that the presidency has described as non-existent. In a Freedom of Information request signed by its Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare, Serap demanded certified copies of all documents relating to the approval of allocation to the Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council, and also referred to it in the budget as the Presidential Economic Advisory Council. The organization also urged the leadership of the National Assembly to immediately invoke its investigative powers under Sections 88 and 89 of the 1999 Constitution to probe the circumstances surrounding the allocation and identify those responsible for any irregularities. Serap further requested records identifying the lawmakers and committees that considered and approved the allocation, as well as the public officials who appeared before the committees to defend the proposed funding. The rights group said a contradiction surrounding the organization raises serious concerns about the integrity of Nigeria's budget process, legislative oversight, public financial management, and accountability. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has debunked allegations that he was offered 500 billion naira to contest against the National Democratic Congress presidential candidate Peter Obi in the 2027 general election to divide votes in the South-South region. In a statement by Special Advisor on Media, Ikechikweze, Jonathan described the speculation as completely false, baseless, and a deliberate attempt to drag him into needless political controversy. He noted that the publication failed to provide basic details expected of a credible report, including when and where the alleged statement was made, identity of those who supposedly made the offer, or any witnesses to support the claim. The statement added that the story bore all the characteristics of fabricated news designed to mislead the public and create unnecessary political tension ahead of the 2027 general elections. The presidential candidate of the Nigeria Democratic Congress, Peter Obi, has advised President Bola Tinubu to either resign or abandon any plans to seek re-election in 2027, citing the worsening insecurity across the country. In a statement released on Monday, Obi expressed concern over the continued captivity of school children abducted in Oyo State more than 50 days ago. Following a visit to Governor Seyi Makinde, the former Anambra governor said a prolonged delay in rescuing the victims reflects a failure of leadership and governance. He said he was surprised to learn that President Tinubu had allegedly not contacted Makinde over the abduction, noting that previous presidents, including Olusegun Obasanjo, Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, and Goodluck Jonathan, regularly reached out to state governors during major security crises. He noted that the ultimate cost of uncompassionate leadership, as evident in the country today, is turning citizens' frustration into deep, volatile resentment. We noted that Tinubu was among those who criticized Jonathan's handling of a 2014 Chibok schoolgirl's abduction and argued that several school kidnappings have occurred under the current administration with little visible presidential engagement. Insisted that in the interest of Nigerians, Tinubu should either step down or shelve any ambition of seeking a second term in office. The National Boundary Commission says it is committed to the peaceful resolution of the Abia-Anambra interstate boundary dispute, disclosing that both states had recorded significant progress in efforts to complete the delineation of their common boundary. Speaking at a joint meeting of officials on the Abia-Anambra interstate boundary held in Awka, the Director General of the Commission, Adamu Adaji, commended the governments of Abia and Anambra states for their sustained cooperation and commitment to resolving the dispute through dialogue and established legal procedures. Adaji disclosed that about 15 kilometers of a 23-kilometer interstate boundary had already been jointly traced and provisionally demarcated, while discussions were focused on resolving the remaining 8-kilometer stretch. Said the meeting reviewed recommendations from the Technical Committee of Experts held on July 1, 2026, with the aim of identifying practical and mutually acceptable solutions to the outstanding issues. Abia State Deputy Governor and Chairman of the State Boundary Committee, Ikechukwu Emeto, who was represented by his Deputy Chief of Staff, Chijioke Nwankwo, welcomed the consensus reached on the already traced 15-kilometer section and called for its immediate monumentation. On its part, the Anambra State government, represented by the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Boundary Matters, Ekene Chukwu Okoye, said boundary disputes should be approached with sincerity, professionalism, and mutual respect, noting that the welfare, peace, and security of affected communities must remain paramount. A magistrate's court sitting in Isabo, Abeokuta, Ogun State, has ordered the remand of 3 suspects involved in the murder of a broadcast journalist, Kita Oyesiku, and our security guard, Belumi Adetayo, for the next 60 days. The body of a 67-year-old retired OGTV broadcaster was discovered inside her apartment, lifeless, lying face up with blood-soaked tissue paper beside her, while a security guard was found killed and locked up inside the security house. Legal officer of the State Criminal Investigation Department, A.S. Abiodun, informed the court that an application dated 6th of July sought an order of the court to remand the suspect for 60 days at first instance at the Nigeria Correctional Center, pending the advice of the Director of Public Prosecution for the suspect's arraignment before the court of competent jurisdiction. Informed the court that 17 exhibits and a written address were attached to the application, and urged the court to grant the application in the interest of justice. The Chief Magistrate granted the relief as prayed by the Police Council and adjourned the case till September 10, 2026. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency has warned of a risk of flash flood between now and July 10, saying that widespread rainfall expected during the period, which the peak of the rainy season could trigger flooding across 27 states in the country. The advisory NIMET attributed the heightened risk to persistent rainfall experienced in June, which it said has left soils in most parts of the country unable to absorb additional precipitation. According to the agency, states that experienced flash flooding during the period include Taraba, Sokoto, Borno, Zamfara, Kebbi, Katsina, Kaduna, Nasarawa, Plateau, Adamawa, Kwara, Kogi, Oyo, Ogun, Lagos, and Osun State. Others are Ekiti, Delta, Edo, Abia, Imo, Anambra, Enugu, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Rivers, and Bayelsa. It warned that anticipated heavy rainfall could have far-reaching consequences for transportation, public utilities, agriculture, infrastructure, public health, and as it could trigger localized flooding, resulting in traffic gridlock, road closures, and disruption to transportation. The agency also cautioned that temporary power and telecommunications outages may occur in areas affected, while poor visibility during intense rainfall could pose risk to motorists and aviation operations. To minimize the impact of expected flooding, NIMET urged residents and emergency respondents to take preventive measures without delay. The federal government has concluded arrangements to evacuate another batch of 270 Nigerians from South Africa as part of its ongoing repatriation exercise for citizens willing to return home. The returnees are expected to arrive at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, in the early hours of Wednesday aboard an Air Peace aircraft deployed for the evacuation. A statement by the spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Kimebi Ebienfa, on Monday said the aircraft would depart Lagos on Tuesday afternoon for Johannesburg before returning with the evacuees overnight. The statement assured Nigerians still residing in South Africa of their safety, even as fresh concerns over xenophobic tensions and renewed anti-immigrant protests continue to trigger calls for stronger diplomatic action. The federal government has told downstream marketers to cut pump prices of petrol and other petroleum products to reflect falling crude costs in the international market. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Heineken Lokbobri, made a call on Monday during a stakeholders meeting with the marketers and other downstream petroleum sector operators. Lokbobri stated that the sharp drop in Brent crude from about $118 a barrel earlier this year to below $70 must be reflected at the pumps. On its part, the Chief Executive of the National Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Rabiu Umar, urged the industry to collaborate on the steps that will translate recent global crude price declines into lower pump prices. Umar said the session built on a similar forum held 2 weeks earlier on the domestic gas sector, which he said had already delivered actionable wins, including a noticeable fall in retail LPG prices. Those in attendance included the management of Dangote Refinery, Major Energies Marketers Association of Nigeria, Depot and Petroleum Products Marketers Association of Nigeria, Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, and Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria, among other stakeholders. Still to come, Ukraine warns of interceptor missile shortage as 14 killed in Kiev region. Super typhoon hits U.S. islands, major damage recorded. Stay with us.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
Plus has agreed to a further increase in output targets by 188,000 barrels per day from August. The increase adds to global supply on top of similar increases for June and July at a time when oil prices are falling due to the gradual reopening of the Straits of Hormuz for oil exports. The 7 core members of OPEC+, which groups OPEC and allied producers, including Russia, have hiked their output quotas from April through July by almost 800,000 barrels per day. Yet the increase has remained likely on paper because of the U.S.-Israeli war on Iran, which closed the Straits of Hormuz to tanker traffic for some of the most important OPEC+ members, including Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Iraq. Despite persistent supply disruptions, oil prices have returned to pre-war levels, pressured by lower Chinese imports, higher exports from non-Middle East producers, and a record global strategic stock release coordinated by the International Energy Agency. A memorandum of understanding between Washington and Tehran to end the war has also helped convince traders that supply will ultimately return to normal levels. Brent crude prices traded near $72 per barrel on Friday, down from recent peaks of more than $120 per barrel, and back to levels traded just before the U.S. and Israel attacked Iran on February 28. Thousands of people are on the streets in Tehran for the funeral procession for Iran's former supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Khamenei, who ruled Iran for more than 35 years, was killed in U.S.-Israeli airstrikes in February, and his funeral began on Friday, with events planned over the coming week. The burial is scheduled for Thursday in the northeastern city of Mashhad. And Iranian authorities say millions are expected to attend the event, which it describes as funeral of a century. Khamenei's son, Mujtaba, has been named his successor, though he has not been seen publicly since taking power and has so far been absent from his father's funeral. Monday's funeral procession took place as a fragile ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran holds, while talks on a permanent peace deal continue. The U.S. President Donald Trump said the negotiations have been on pause since funeral events began on Friday, but said both sides had decided to take a week off from the talks until Khamenei's funeral events end. The Ukrainian Air Force says a serious shortage of interceptor missiles meant that none of the 23 ballistic missiles fired by Russia at Kyiv on Sunday night were shot down. Kyiv's top military administrator said at least 11 people were killed in the second large-scale Russian attack on the Ukrainian capital in a week, where 3 more were killed in the wider Kyiv region. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has appealed for allies to take strong decisions at this week's NATO summit to provide Kyiv with air defenses. Said the Ukrainian military had been successful in intercepting cruise missiles and drones, but not ballistic missiles. It was another frightening night for people in the capital, with loud explosions and the boom of Ukraine's air defenses in action. Rescuers have been trying to reach people trapped inside the ruins, while helicopters have been shuttling back and forth in the sky, carrying water from the river to douse fires in the city. China's state media reported that the military test-fired a missile from a nuclear-powered submarine into the Pacific on Monday, drawing criticism and concerns from Japan, Australia, and New Zealand over Beijing's expanded military reach. The official Xinhua news agency said a nuclear submarine of a People's Liberation Army Navy launched the missile carrying a dummy warhead towards international waters in the Pacific at 12:01 p.m. Xinhua described the launch as a routine arrangement of China's annual military training and said it was not directed against any specific country or target. Australian Foreign Minister Penny Wong said China had notified the Australian government of a planned test, but described the launch as destabilizing for the region. The test comes just as of Australia and Fiji signed a major defense alliance on Monday, committing each country to come to the other's aid in case any of them is attacked. Beijing and Western powers, led by the US and Australia, have competed for years for influence in strategically located island nations, and China has sought to expand its economic and security influence across the South Pacific. Israeli air attacks on Gaza Strip have killed at least 6 Palestinians and wounded more than 20 as casualties continue to rise in the territory despite a ceasefire declared months ago. At least 2 people were killed in an Israeli drone attack on a vehicle along Al-Rashid Street in Khan Yunis in southern Gaza on Monday, while 2 other Palestinians were killed in an attack on a tent sheltering displaced people in Al-Mawasi near Khan Yunis. A married couple were also killed in an Israeli drone attack on an apartment in Gaza City, according to a source at Al-Shifa Hospital. The latest killings come despite Israel and Hamas agreeing to a United States brokered ceasefire in October last year, as Israeli attacks on Palestinians in the territory have continued. According to the Ministry of Health in Gaza, Israeli army violations of a ceasefire have killed at least 1,072 people and wounded 3,463 others since the truce took effect. A super typhoon with a force of a Category 5 hurricane tore through the U.S. Pacific territories of Northern Marianas and Guam on Monday, with major damage on a small island of Rota. The National Weather Service said that the entirety of Rota was in the eye of a super typhoon Barbie, with winds up to 290 kilometers per hour before moving slowly away westwards. Meteorologist Marcus London said in a media chat that the island of Tinian, northern parts of Guam and the southern tip of Saipan experienced winds equivalent to the Category 1 hurricane. Northern Marianas and the nearby separate U.S. territory of Guam are collectively home to around 210,000 people. Authorities on Guam had said the island could see 20 to 30 centimeters of precipitation, resulting in a potential flash flooding. Several hundred people were holed up at the Guam Plaza Hotel as the winds shook violently and rain leaked into rooms and stairwells. Sports. President Donald Trump has thanked FIFA for suspending Larry Balogun's one-match ban, allowing the U.S. striker to play at the World Cup co-host last season's showdown against Belgium. Balogun had been set to miss Monday's match after being shown a straight red card following a VAR review for stepping on the foot of a Bosnian defender in a last 32 clash that the U.S. won 2-0. Under FIFA rules, a straight red card automatically triggers a one-game ban, which cannot be appealed by the player's team. But football governing body FIFA said on Sunday the ban will now be suspended for a year in a surprise move for which no specific explanation was offered. FIFA's decision was immediately slammed by Belgian football officials, who released a statement saying they are astonished by a move that is a direct contradiction within FIFA's own World Cup 2026 regulations. Balogun has been key to the U.S. progress in the tournament and has netted 3 times for the U.S. this World Cup, including his brace in the opener against Paraguay, and his absence against Belgium would have been a blow to the team in the game in Seattle. Meanwhile, former FIFA President Sepp Blatter on Monday questioned the football governing body's decision to suspend U.S. striker Larry Balogun's red card ban. Sources disclosed that the U.S. President Donald Trump had called FIFA's current chief, Gianni Infantino, to ask FIFA to review Balogun's automatic one-game suspension. Blatter, who was hit by scandals during his reign, said on X that red cards are not overturned by political phone calls, but rather overturned by rules, evidence, and independent bodies. Blatter has often criticized Infantino, telling German newspapers Bild in February that FIFA had become a dictatorship. Blatter resigned as FIFA head in 2015 following a corruption crisis and was banned from football by its ethics committee. Cristiano Ronaldo admitted at the World Cup on Sunday that he's not the player he once was. It, however, came hard on critics, whom he said has been trying to kill him for the past 23 years. The 41-year-old Portugal superstar was in turns bullish, jovial, and sentimental on the eve of the last 16 showdown with Spain at the home of the Dallas Cowboys in what will be his last World Cup. One of the finest footballers in history, the former Manchester United, Juventus, and Real Madrid superstar refused to say when he will end his international career. But the attacker and Portugal's keeper said that he's not doing too bad, pointing out that he has scored 3 goals in North America, 2 against Uzbekistan and a 5-0 thrashing in the group phase and a penalty in a 2-1 win over Croatia in the last 32. Tens of thousands of jubilant supporters turned out in Cape Verde to welcome home the national football team following the country's historic run at the World Cup. The Blue Sharks arrived in the capital Praia on Sunday after the remarkable campaign came to an end with a 3-0 defeat to reigning champions Argentina. Supporters transformed the airport into a carnival atmosphere, beating drums, dancing, singing, and waving national flags as they celebrated a team that had captured the imagination of football fans around the world. Goalkeeper Bozinha, whose performances earned global recognition during the tournament, said it was a very great moment for them to be with the people, saying they wanted something bigger but could not go to the next stage. The celebrations coincided with Cape Verde's Independence Day, marking 51 years since the country gained independence from Portuguese colonial rule. Cape Verde entered the tournament ranked 67th in the world, but exceeded expectations with 3 group stage draws, including a goalless draw against European champion Spain. In their opening match, Cape Verde manager Pedro Latiel Brito, popularly known as Bubista, expressed pride in his side's achievement. Naomi Osaka's turned world number 1 Anya Sabalenka with a 6-2, 7-2 victory as the Japanese star moved into the Wimbledon quarterfinals for the first time. Osaka avenged a straight sets defeat against Sabalenka in the French Open last 16 in June by eliminating her fellow full-time Grand Slam champion with a superb display on center court. It is 5 years since Osaka lifted her most recent Grand Slam trophy at the Australian Open. Osaka is yet to drop a set across her opening 4 matches at Wimbledon. Seated 14th, she is finally finding a groove on the grass, helped by the eye-catching outfit she arrives in court wearing. Her walk-on costumes have included a kimono, a bomber jacket with a long train, and a cloak that looks like an open kimono. The 28-year-old believes all the talk about a haute couture has taken the pressure off her tennis. And that's the global news. I am Barry Kumo Ado. Thank you very much for watching.
New every morning on Signature TV, we open the day for you with needed energy, information, and required vibes to shape your day. From sizzling snippets of stories in various areas of life to intriguing conversations with net worth guests.
When you have people who have no track record becoming your leaders, you have a problem. There's no outstanding gratuity when Obi took over from me. I left in all the accounts of Anambra State 13.8 billion for him.
Your day cannot be complete without Signature Morning on weekdays and Signature New Day on weekends. There is no better way to start your day except Signature Morning and Signature New Day every day on Signature TV.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Welcome once again to The Sage. As usual, I'm Dr. Kechi Ubwagu, your guide on this journey. Amazingly, I have found that more and more as I have done this show, I have come to recognize the truth, the universal truth, that everybody God created is a gem. There's no one he creates without giving you a special talent, a special gift. It is for you and for the world to recognize that gift and make the most of it. It's been for me, and I hope for you, for many of you who have followed us on this journey, an exciting, exciting adventure. One in which, as we discover the treasures, oftentimes hidden in ourselves, in our people, we come to recognize and to realize, and with humility and thanksgiving, know how beautiful a people we are and how beautiful human beings really are, if encouraged and if they're performing in the right environment optimally. And so in today's show, we again go to the issue of creativity, to the issue of the creative arts. There's so much beauty, awe, in knowing that some of us have the ability to turn even the most mundane into truly beautiful art that enlivens and uplifts. And so it is with joy that we bring in a guest to you today who is an amazingly talented young lady with the ability, using her hands, her skills, her mind, her brain, to turn the most mundane into a work of art. A wonderful young lady, gentle, always smiling. A lady of few words, but one busy with her hand all the time. Stay with me. You are going to enjoy this. It's a promise. As you meet our guests, a lovely, talented young lady in the next segment. We thank you. Welcome once again to The Sage, and thank you for staying with us. It's going to be quite a journey. But before I unveil our package, before I share our treasure, let me say something to many parents like me who I hope are watching this show. There comes a time, sometimes for some of us, the good Lord gives us a child that is different. Gentle, in his or her own world, creating things in her mind. Sometimes when we talk about the profession, the career we want, law, medicine, engineering, all of that, that child is not going along with us. In his or her mind are things, dreams, art, things that she's creating. If that child is lucky to have a parent that somehow understands and gives her or him the room to mature, to live out her calling, then a beautiful thing has been done for our world. I'm very, very happy to say that my guest today, our guest today, is indeed such a child. Talented, creative, not much of a talker. She lives in her world of creativity. Please join me in welcoming Priscilla Uzero to this show. Priscilla, welcome.
Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you.
I'm looking at Priscilla, I'm laughing. She's one of my fellows in C4C, so I have known her for quite a bit of time. And like I said, she's that child that I described. She smiles, peaceful, but in her own world. She's not struggling to talk. She's not much of a talker, but a gifted artist. Priscilla, welcome.
Thank you.
Please tell us a little about yourself.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you for having me on the show. My name is Uzero Priscilla. I'm from Delta State. I'm a graduate of civil engineering, Landmark University.
pushed you into civil engineering, eh?
I found myself in civil engineering. So I read the course. So I'm a graduate of civil engineering. And I run a business also, and a social enterprise. I'm the founder and creative director of Maripi Creations. It's a business that uses waste items to create beautiful furniture and decorative products for interior spaces, be it residential or commercial.
Priscilla, I'm going to stop you. And I'm going to say, before you describe your organization for us, what drove this? Where did it come from? How?
Okay. I like to say I started upcycling from when I was a child.
What is upcycling?
I started converting waste items into things of value, into creative process of creating value out of waste items. So I started doing that from when I was a child. Even when I didn't know the meaning of upcycling, I just knew it as something I wanted to be creative. I just wanted to create beautiful things. And right from my childhood, I could always see the waste items around me, the cartons, fabric of cut, and I was always that child that would always use scissors. Children might be playing, but I'll be crafting somewhere. So I started doing that from when I was a child, and I grew up to continue upcycling, even till when I discovered what the term upcycling meant. And it's been a very wonderful journey so far till now.
I mean, that's amazing. And that's amazing because, like I said, sometimes we get them, this type of children that are creative. Yeah. They don't even know what drives them, but they know, even like you said, at a tender age, each time you saw something discarded that you felt was going to be thrown away, your impulse was to take it and turn it into a piece of art. What an amazing gift. And what did your parents have to say about this?
In fact, my parents have been so supportive when I was since my childhood. I couldn't have asked for better parents, because my mom was the first person to get me that scissors to cut whatever I wanted to cut. And even when I finished my youth service and I went into upcycling fully, I still have parents that will say, "Oh, I found tires for you. I found this for you." And they've been really supportive. Whatever I planned to do with my life, they were following me full force. And I've had very wonderful parents.
That is such a blessing, and I hope it's such a blessing. And I hope they're watching this show, and to them I say thank you. I mean, because it is a lot about our children's future, and what they finally turn into also depends on the way we nurture them. And to have parents like you've had is a pure blessing, and we thank them. And we say to all the other parents out there, look at your child, see that potential artist. Sometimes let's believe in them and trust them in the innate gifts they have and the need to express them. So stay with us. We'll be back. When we come back, we'll find out what Priscilla did with this great artistry. That is her, her God-given talent. Thank you. Stay with us. Welcome once again to The Sage, and thank you for staying with us. If you haven't been with us before now, you have missed a truly inspiring young lady, a talented artist, whose passion is just discovering waste, things you will have normally thrown away, but turning them into bits of beautiful art. So Priscilla, let me ask you two things. One is, what has become of that passion, that creativity, and how did it become a business?
Thank you very much, Emma. So during my NYC, the beginning part of my youth service, I remember just creating a decor piece out of a discarded item, and I posted it online, and I got a lot of feedback regarding that piece out of fabric of cords and the discarded item. And that was the beginning. People said, "Oh, this was beautiful," and I didn't think it was such a big deal. So I said, "Okay, I'm really passionate about this." I created more, but I wasn't profiting out of it. It wasn't a business. Mm-hmm. So after my service here and journey down the line, I discovered that there were people that were going to support this passion of mine, and I came across the Conversation for Change. And these were people that helped me to turn this my passion into business. I mean, I never even knew that I could profit out of this. To me, I could just stare at this my decor piece and stare at it all day. And I don't, even if nobody buys, I'm comfortable because I feel I made a work of art. But it made me realize that you have to profit from this, and you can profit from this. And they just, helped me make this business profitable, taught me a lot of things with regards to business, how to run a business properly, and how to structure my business as well. And it's been an amazing journey. My encounter with the C4C has really changed this passion of mine and transformed it entirely. So I'm forever grateful to the C4C for that opportunity. Yes.
It's been an honor for us because, like we said, you're a gift to the world. You're a gift to us in C4C. It's lovely to see a lovely young lady like you living her talents, living her dream, living her passion. And for us, it's been wonderful to look at it, and look at you and say, wow, we were part of this journey. So we're also proud of you. Thank you for everything you are. Don't ever give up. Let's let the audience share in the joys of your creativity. Let's look at some of the things. I can see many beautiful. In fact, my studio is overwhelmed with beautiful things. But show us some of the ones you've produced.
Let me start with this. I made this throw pillow out of fabric offcuts from the fashion waste, and I made them into beautiful flowers for interior. So it's a throw pillow, and it's colorful and it's beautiful. So this is out of fashion.
You can say that again. I think it matches my skirt and I think it matches this studio.
Yes, it does. So I made this out of a discarded wine bottle and fabric offcut as well. So they go together, and they can be standalone decor pieces. They can be flower vases. I also made this pen holder out of an old mayonnaise jar. Many people use jam and use mayonnaise.
That was a mayonnaise jar?
Yes, it was.
Wow.
Now it's a pen holder, a table organizer, and it's beautiful.
It is. You can say that again.
This also is a throw pillow cover I made. It's a collection of fashion waste, and I've turned it into another pattern for throw pillows. So you can insert your fiber filling for your pillow in it, and you can use it to adorn your space. So
beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And this is another one. Is this one for my Valentine?
Yes, this particular decor piece was inspired by love, I would like to say, because I created this and it has old newspapers with a lot of writings and a lot of words that you can't fully tell your lover everything you want to express out of your
I hope the young men there are listening.
So this particular decor piece, just it's a work of art that says, I can't tell you all that is in my heart. I'm lost for words when I'm with you. So I created this decor piece in honor of the lovers.
Yes. Was it given to any particular Valentine? Not yet. Yeah, but it's amazing. It's a beautiful piece of artistry. Look at all the little details that went into it, and the concept of love behind it is gorgeous. It's one that the whole world needs. We need to love everybody. It's not just the men and the women. It's also everybody, loving everybody, because that is the right thing to do. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Thank you for sharing. To our viewers, we, of course, will also share many of the other great things that Priscilla has in her studio. In this episode, we video them for you because she does a lot of things. She does tables, she does all kinds of... In fact, she chisels and paints. Tell us about that. That is very much a male kind of activity. How do you cope with it?
Okay, well... this journey of upcycling, I've got to learn some of these things, some of these crafts, because sometimes you work with some artisans and they don't want to take orders from you because you feel you're a female. So I had to learn how to use these hand tools by myself, and I've been able to prove to some of them that what a man can do, a woman can do better.
Yeah, when she's determined.
So I work with all sorts of tools, and I've also when I have some jobs, I also partner with this artisan because I can't do all of it myself. So I partner with them to, create my furniture pieces.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. And I'm sure your engineering background somehow also helped in terms of coping with that kind of scenario.
It did. We're only 2 ladies in my department. So, and even with my internship in civil engineering, I worked with men, and I was used to, having men around. So it's not so difficult when I have to work with them. I know how to go around the discussion. When
they don't know what hits them when they meet a determined young lady.
Exactly, ma. So I've been able to cope even in any male-dominated, place I find myself.
Wow.
Thank you.
It's such a pleasure. It's always been a pleasure associating with you, my dear. Thank you for the beauty and the creativity you bring into the world. That's how we are happy and our world is a better place. Stay with us as we take a little break before we go into our final segment. Welcome once again to the stage, and thank you for having stayed with us through it all. But I'm sure you agree it's been an amazing journey. We've had an amazing guest, an amazing young lady whom we wish well, who is such an exciting person, who is so beautifully creative. And so, Priscilla, let me say to you, we've seen this. 2 questions for you, really. Have you thought of sharing the skills, spreading this message of upcycling, of other young people, other people, really finding ways to use this potential waste and turn them, if they have the talent, into creativity?
Yes, for us at My Creations, it's not just about beautifying spaces alone and creating spaces that people connect with and they can experience, and creating beautiful statement pieces like decor pieces like this. It's about also impacting younger people, impacting generations to come, and that's why we do organize trainings for younger people.
Wow, that's great.
So far, My Creations, we've organized training for more than 100 young people.
Wow, that's great.
And at different times of the year, and we've really gotten very positive feedback from that, and it feels great to know that you can actually impact other people to start earning a living for themselves and actually make a difference in the environment and our generation. So yes, we actually organize training, and it's a social enterprise, and we're happy to do what we do.
Okay, that is great. If there are young people who want to learn, how do they reach out to you?
Well,
not just young people, old people who want to learn are welcome to learn as well.
Very welcome. Well, I'm available to teaching, so you can always reach out to me on social media platforms. I'm available. I have online trainings I organize as well, and
online training. So that's great. So that they should be on the lookout, so that they can at least join the online ones. Yeah, that's wonderful. And as we're winding up, can I ask you to tell our audience, what are your words? What are your last words to other people watching?
Okay. I'll say my last words to other young people is, to take responsibility, of the future you want to create, the world you want to see, for the environment you want to leave for our children and generations to come, to create that environment that will be proud to leave for generations to come, and even to see a world, a better Nigeria. I think the word is, we all as young people should really take the responsibility. We can't keep leaving it for somebody. You can't keep ensuring that someone else will clean up the trash and stop environmental pollution. It starts with everyone. It starts with you. It starts from me, to create the world that we want to see. The saying goes, be the change you want to see in the world, and I believe you have to take responsibility to be that change.
That's beautiful. It shows you're a part of C4C and will always continue to be, because our motto in C4C is actually creating the change we need. Recognize that you're an important part of this world, that the responsibility of having a better world rests with all of us, and that we are already gifted, each and everybody, with something we can do towards making it a reality. And yours is such an obvious example. Again, we remember to thank your parents for being so supportive and indeed making your journey so easy. Yes. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful lesson for all of us who are parents out there. And so, Priscilla, thank you so much. It's been a pure joy having you on the show. And again, my last words to the audience is thank you for joining with us. Thank you for sharing our joy in the treasures we've uncovered. Priscilla, today, our guest, is a wonderful example. But we also ask you to please help us to expand this reality. Our world, our country, is full of wonderful young people waiting to be unveiled, waiting to be supported, waiting to claim their dreams, to exercise their passion, to make this country and this world a better place. Support the program we do in C4C. We have experience. We've done it over and over again. We've shown you these people on this show. They are living testimonies. Help us to expand the program. Help us to reach many more. Even as we strive on this show to do that by having the show, this experience that Priscilla has had, for instance, in which she's turned her talent into a profitable business that supports her and perhaps to some extent her family and friends. We ask you to help us do that for many more young people. It can be replicated in every state in this country. We thank you. Thank you for the journey. Tune in next week to see another wonderful young person. Thank you. Priscilla, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Bright and early as the day breaks, as the newspaper headlines trail the stories that shape the day. We at Signature TV trail the headlines that trail the day. We interrogate the headlines. We analyze the stories that make the headlines.
Wayek is overrated, and they even overrated themselves, and when you go see it, they are insensitive of some Nigerian children who have never had what it was CBT.
With passion and emotion, we drive the conversation to change a narrative.
Let nobody be deceived by Nigerian high level of performing in agriculture export. We are still where we are.
Newspaper review on Signature TV every morning on Signature Morning, weekdays, and Signature New Day, weekends. Newspaper review on Signature TV. We do not just review the headlines, we make the headlines relevant to our daily lives. We are local.
International communities Right, the main market is in chaos. People are...
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye. Aye. We have taken the vote by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket. New every morning on Signature TV, we open the day for you with needed energy, information, and required vibes to shape your day. From sizzling snippets of stories in various areas of life to intriguing conversations with net worth guests.
When you have people who have no track record becoming your leaders, you have a problem. There's no outstanding gratuity when Obi took over from me. I left in all the accounts of Anambra State 13.8 billion for him.
Your day cannot be complete without Signature Morning on weekdays and Signature New Day on weekends. There is no better way to start your day except Signature Morning and Signature New Day every day on Signature TV.
Health is more than a diagnosis. It's your lifestyle, your choices, and your future. Join us on Inside Health, your weekly deep dive into the stories, science, and solutions shaping your well-being. From expert interviews to real-life journeys of healing and hope, we cover it all.
One of the complications of cancer management or treatment is they have some of them, at one point in time, you see them having anemia. Okay, so you see them at times being transfused. But at the same time, you come in with the diet.
Nutrition, mental health, innovations in medicine, fitness, and everyday wellness. Whether you're managing a condition, staying informed, or just living your best life, Inside Health is your trusted guide.
I'm Tigiti Agorum, and I'll be with you every week on Inside Health, only on Signature TV.
Get plugged into the heartbeat of entertainment on The Hub, your ultimate show on eVibes. From trending stories and social media drama to top charting music, must-watch movies and exciting moments from the world of arts, we've got it all. Join us for unmissable conversations with your favorite entertainment personalities, plus fun segments every week.
I should try harder, so...
Okay, I don't know that one.
Outfit of the day.
Oh, I don't do that. That's some Gen Z stuff.
Oh, now you say it's a Gen Z stuff.
It's everything you love about entertainment, served fresh every week at 1 p.m. with weekend repeats just in case you missed it. The Hub's on eVibes, where the vibes never stop. Only on Signature TV.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
Tired of the snow? Tired of the bad TV signals? Nigeria has gone digital. Introducing Free TV, the national platform for every Nigerian. Get 100 plus channels immediately. Sports, news, and entertainment in your native language with clear picture quality. Whether you're in the city or the village, our satellite signal reaches every corner of 36 states from day one. No monthly subscription, just a compatible decoder and you are set. It's a national asset built for you. Take the show on the road, download the Free TV app and stream your favorite channels anywhere. Starting this May, scan to download the app or call 0700 388 7277. Free TV, digital TV for free. Brought to you by NBC.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
Get plugged into the heartbeat of entertainment on The Hub, your ultimate show on e-vibes. From trending stories and social media drama to top charting music, must-watch movies and exciting moments from the world of arts, we've got it all. Join us for unmissable conversations with your favorite entertainment personalities, plus fun segments every week.
So I should try harder. So
Okay, I don't know that one.
outfit of the day.
Oh, I don't do that. That's some Gen Z stuff.
Oh, now you say it's a Gen Z stuff.
It's everything you love about entertainment, served fresh every week at 1 p.m. with weekend repeats just in case you missed it. The Hub's on e-vibes, where the vibes never stop. Only on Signature TV.
Signature TV. News in your pocket.
Bright and early as the day breaks, as the newspaper headlines trail the stories that shape the day. We at Signature TV trail the headlines that trail the day. We interrogate the headlines. We analyze the stories that make the headlines.
WAEC is overrated, and they even overrated themselves, and when you go see it, they are insensitive of some Nigerian children who have never had what it was CBT.
With passion and emotion, we drive the conversation to change a narrative.
Let nobody be deceived by Nigerian high level of performing in agriculture export. We are still where we are.
Newspaper review on Signature TV every morning on Signature Morning, weekdays, and Signature New Day, weekends. Newspaper review on Signature TV. We do not just review the headlines, we make the headlines relevant to our daily lives.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
New every morning on Signature TV, we open the day for you with needed energy, information, and required vibes to shape your day. From sizzling snippets of stories in various areas of life to intriguing conversations with net worth guests.
When you have people who have no track record becoming your leaders, you have a problem. There's no outstanding gratuity when Obi took over from me. I left in all the accounts of Anambra State 13.8 billion for him.
Your day cannot be complete without Signature Morning on weekdays and Signature New Day on weekends. There is no better way to start your day except Signature Morning and Signature New Day every day on Signature TV.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Bright and early as the day breaks, as the newspaper headlines trail the stories that shape the day. We at Signature TV trail the headlines that trail the day. We interrogate the headlines. We analyze the stories that make the headlines.
WAEC is overrated, and they even overrated themselves, and when you go see it, they are insensitive of some Nigerian children who have never had what it was CBT.
With passion and emotion, we drive the conversation to change a narrative.
Let nobody be deceived by Nigerian high level of performing in agriculture export. We are still where we are.
Newspaper review on Signature TV every morning on Signature Morning, weekdays, and Signature New Day, weekends. Newspaper review on Signature TV. We do not just review the headlines, we make the headlines relevant to our daily lives.
Good morning. Welcome to Signature Morning on Signature TV. Today is Tuesday, the 7th day of July 2026. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I am Uchenna Chimdi Oluoha. Coming up next is our newspaper headlines and review segment. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Starting off with the Nation newspaper. The headline says, "Let petrol price reflect crude rate, federal government tells marketers." Minister, regulator meet with industry leaders. Ipman makes case for import license. On the Guardian newspaper, the major headline on page 6 says 15,000 naira per bag. Despite glut, local cement price nearly doubles Africa's average. ADC accuses FG of pushing 17 million Nigerians into acute hunger. Looking at the Nigerian Tribune, page 6, FG pushes for petrol price reduction. NMDPRA, FCCPC, Dangote Refinery, marketers, NATO, others meet. Another major headline on the Nigerian Tribune, Falana kicks as police arrest father of alleged fake PFIPC DG. He has no link with royal lineage. Didn't stay in Oyo Palace, late Alafin Adeyemi family. Office of Accountant General denies opening CBN accounts for agency. PFIPC controversy exposes Nigeria's dual governance. Unilag done. Moving on to the Vanguard newspaper. Police still on PFIPC. Police arrest PFIPC DG's dad, family friend in Obomosho. It is outside my jurisdiction, Oyo Police, says FCID, Force Headquarters, Abuja, effected arrest. Residents confirm arrests. PFIPC has no CBN account, OAGF clarifies. Alleged anti-media practices, FG orders FCCPC to probe ex-Meta AI firms, on page 9. Now on to the Daily Trust newspaper. 32 killed in Kwara, Ogun, Kogi road crashes. Protesting FCT teachers disrupt civil service promotion exam. Tinubu orders probe of Meta, X, others. Now to the Punch newspaper. Fake agency scandal. Presidency under pressure as police arrest Adeyemi's father. Army vows to defeat foreign jihadists at borders. Shetima, Obasanjo, Gowon, others celebrate Army Day. These are the major headlines on our newspapers this morning. And to review these headlines with us is Chris Maduka. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Lucia. I'm just thinking on a while. I have to put back my thinking cap. Yeah, welcome, my dear people. This is how we are taking off this morning on Signature Morning Newspaper Review.
Okay, so let's go straight. The Nation has let petrol price reflect crude rate. Federal government tells marketers. Ipman makes a case for import license, and minister regulators meet with industry leaders.
Yes, I'm surprised that last time it looks to me as an error that the president, who is the substantial minister of oil and gas, and of course, Ministry of Petroleum, Energy, Petroleum Resources. We have a lot of MDAs, departments and agencies that are on the trail and the line of this oversight function over oil and gas in Nigeria. Despite all this, with our president, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency President Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, as the substantial minister of oil, that they are begging the marketers to reflect the global oil price in their local pricing of refined petroleum product. I consider it deception. Because the federal government has been taking this, they know what to do. With the president being the minister of oil, there's no need to begging because these people are Shylocks. The marketers, the importers and the exporters, the damagers and managers of oil and gas in Nigeria are corrupt bunch of selfish people who want to make money. They don't care. As far as they smile to the bank. So why all this idea of, please let it reflect? And I said this, it doesn't work out well. And we have that agency of government, I get the name again, it says MDPR.
NMDPRA.
That organization, most of times when they want to do bubu yaya, they find them in the street. So why are they not getting down on the people? Dangote reduced price, the first one, 75 naira, which is substantial. It never reflected in anywhere in pricing in downstream. Now, a new set of oil price reduction has been, now they are pushing. If they are Nigeria, the people all involved know that 800 naira price of a liter of petroleum product in Nigeria, PMS, can pay for all the cost of production, which you can see the body language of Dangote, that this is still, even though, okay, they still have break even at that price. But they cannot do it. They are pushing for import licenses. They are pushing for, they are still asking for import when even one single refinery that is working in Nigeria can feed our local consumption. There's no sincerity in oil and gas in Nigeria. They all know what they are doing. They come and put us on a wild chase and tell us this, and we start dreaming about it, and they keep doing what they are doing. The government subsidy removal for the last 3 years, they shouldn't be begging the marketers to come down with price. They know what to do. Let's move on. If they don't want, let them leave it at that. The painful thing is that 100% of senior people who are in government in Nigeria, every fuel they burn in their car is on public fund. They hardly buy fuel. They have SUVs that you need almost 300,000 to fill. Government expenses. So government money for government house. All these bubu yaya they do, they are not interested in reducing this for the common people. A lot of us have packed the Tokumbo cars we managed to buy in our lifetime. But they are moving in brand new cars with the convoys and them. They even have so many convoys that are being to be filled. And so all these ones, they are not interested. Senate, National Assembly can't discuss it. Federal House can't discuss it. No state government will discussing this. House of Assembly, they all are paid for to be on the road. They are the ones that don't need the road. In fact, if they find you, you are rickety Tokumbo car, with their convoys and the siren, they blow you out of the road.
All right, let's look at another headline. Falana kicks as police arrest father of alleged fake PFIPC DG. And Office of Accountant General denies opening CBN accounts for agency, amongst other things.
It's coming out. It's developing. If it's in broadcasting, say it's developing stories. Stories are developing. It will get to a peak and the zenith and the whole thing. The air will blow and we're going to see the nyash of a chicken. No matter how they turn it around. This is Nigeria, where you wake up in the morning, they manufacture one word for do whatever they want to do. We are hearing of substituted arrest. And Falana, who should know better, who is also the lawyer for the person, said that thing does not exist in Nigerian constitution. They went to arrest the old village old man in the village who should be in his retirement. And they didn't see who to arrest. They don't know the Adeyemi's house. Who has been staying in the government, federal secretariat? They don't know him again. They're just knocking heads, causing more trouble. They see Falana, who is a lawyer. Can Falana be standing for somebody who is a ghost? If you don't see your client, you lawyer will come and answer. So why are they arresting the old man? Very soon they'll go and arrest him. The Adeyemi, the old Adeyemi or Adeyemi of Oyo, the family has come out to say, we are not connected with this, because before the police are going now, they will still go and they say, once they see you on the road, what's your name? Adeyemi, oh. You must know Adeyemi, who he runs the ghost presidential agency at the presidential, and then with the chief of staff, secretary, a lot of stories. I say he's developing. All these things will not solve the issue. It's a scandal. The more you move to arrest, you are scandalizing the scandal, and you are just pushing it to the brinks and causing more problem. They know. So they do selective. They go and arrest the harmless old man. Why the lawyer, Falana, is moving around, client to somebody they are looking for? I don't understand Nigeria. I don't. It makes no sense for me.
Now, the federal government orders FCCPC to probe X, Meta, and the AI firms over unlawful news content.
Yes. Nigeria has power to probe the world. The presidency should order they probe everything. They probe the air we breathe. You know, because Nigeria is the only country of the world that use Meta. They use X, Facebook, social media. This is only where social media is a pain for them, and the bad sides. Is there no? So, you know, if you do not, I forgot to use the use of that proverb, but I say, if you know bitter leaf, normally as an Igbo man, before you use bitter leaf, you remove the bitterness, and you have to press it and remove the bitterness many times in the process. My mother said, if you did not remove bitterness from bitter leaf, your hand will not taste bitter. So meaning, whatever any man sow, let him go and reap. And so what it concern me, if you are worried, once stone climb up, every breakable underground will fear. You can't hear America asking them to probe all the social media. Nigerian government should know why they want this in probe. It's only here that you have misinformation. And they have Ministry of Information, who is not informing anybody. So if you allow people to misinform you, you begin to fight misinformation. Where is anticipatory action? They don't engage the people. Ministry of Information don't come out with any information. Against this government that is in place, there is a lot of rumor, market talks going on against the government. You don't hear Ministry of Information. So what time, even the spokesperson is not coordinated. He will just drop one stinking thing, making it difficult for the government. I don't understand this Nigeria. So if you leave the chicken, will leave the knife that killed it and go and bend the neck in the pot. Is it? They are not manufactured. They pick from the environment. Every environment reflects what information. Nigeria has its own journalists. Nigeria has even more. The worst that happened to Nigeria at this time is what they call the citizen journalism. Every Nigerian is a reporter. And when they report this to Meta, that is far away somewhere, maybe in New York, and with a click in my village, they get to know that their hunger and hardship here, then the government will come from Abuja and say that they will problem. Let them solve the problem internally. Make Nigerians journalists, citizen journalism. It's not even the regulated ones. Citizen journalism is the greatest pain in the backside of anybody in the world. What the people report, if you get to social media and somebody is calling you, go and regulate how many water that flow in the ocean. That's what it means. So I wish Nigerian government luck.
Okay, now another headline on The Guardian. It says 15,000 naira per bag. Despite glut, local cement price nearly doubles Africa's average. And on one of the written things here, it says that Nigerian manufacturers sell cement to neighboring countries at lower rates than to domestic builders. That is it.
When I say the way you make your mouth to lie on it, people are... So what's the problem? It's only in Nigeria that what goes up doesn't come down. Go to markets in ENUGU. Your friend called me from Kebi and told me, well, that's when the price of rice, this should be almost 4 months ago, started coming down. Here in Enugu, they were still selling rice at the old price when rice was almost at 35,000 naira in Kebi a bag. So who did it to them? That's a rock. Nigerian people, the manufacturers, they allow them, they get the license, they have a regulatory body, and they don't control the price. They just, anything they do, they push is in those areas. The people cannot bother. It's only common man that worries that a bag of cement sells about 12,000 naira, 15,000. That is the leg now go take rich Umuahia. That is when you're talking about housing. Government doesn't have housing for the citizens. The citizen can buy, imagine how many bags of cement you need to build a hut that doesn't have any roof. Just a square hut of maybe 10 by 10. Just imagine. If you put it together, you need at least 5 bags of cement to mold blocks for that. Look at the one you used to plaster it. And that. If you look at that, put it, check the minimum wage of a Nigerian. A bag of cement on the average of 15,000 naira. And then we stay in this country and say, pretend everything is okay. It is not okay. One blind man, they were telling, in Igbo land is blindness. So the ones who speak Dogo 20 were saying, it's okay, it's okay. The man said, if you think it's okay, go and be blind too. It's not okay. This is not okay. The pricing in Nigeria is killing. Nothing is affordable. And then the people are rolling in what you call affluence, and they push it to the eye of this common man who will buy fuel for 2,000 naira a liter. Then probably, even if his old house is cracking, he can buy cement of 15,000 to pack. And these are people you want. You are pushing them every day. So when evil is multiplying, you are looking for. You cannot knock on the door and then turn around and ask who is knocking. That will become an error. Nigeria, we know our problem, but solving it is a problem. I don't know who will solve it, because every day Nigerians are used. You're supposed to sell Ugu at 500. You are selling 2,000. They ask you, you said Tinubu. Then even you add the one that Tinubu did, add it to the one you are doing to yourself, then push it to the common man. And we are living in an environment where we are putting pressure on ourselves. People are dropping and dying, and we're looking for peace in a place where nobody, we all indirectly or directly causing trouble for each other, put intention to live in this place, and we think and that's why people who are jackpot, if 2 weeks after they've left this country, you send you a picture, you will know a difference. Look at me and look at them. Who is better? And that's why they see Nigerians everywhere. They start jealousing them. Go back to that hell where you are coming from. That's why you have xenophobia. Another name of xenophobia is go back to your hell.
All right, Chris, thank you so much. We've come to the end of this
is that
segment.
the end?
Yes, that is the end. Thank you,
When I'm in
Chris.
the mood this morning to...
We'll continue tomorrow morning.
Thank you, Che. Nigerian wahala not finished. So it's better to always take it in bits and peace. Thank you for having been with us this morning. Thank you for being there, always tolerating our passion and energy. We want Nigeria to be better. Want to leave it a better place than the one that we found it. And that's why they struggle. The pain is that some people who are in the position to help us do this, either they are not listening or they are overwhelmed. But they're not even telling us anything. But God day, that's the prayer of every Nigerian. God bless you, God bless me, God bless you, Che. God bless Signature TV. But remember, God's blessings are meant for those who deserve to be blessed.
A very big thank you once again to Chris Maduka. And with that, we've come to the end of our newspaper headlines and review on Signature Morning. We'll be back after this break. Stay tuned.
Right, the main market is in chaos. People.
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye. Aye.
We have taken it to by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes. Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
Welcome back. Now, the NDC primaries held earlier in May, instead of producing a united front for the 2027 elections, triggered a lot of controversies and issues, allegations of irregularities, candidate imposition, and deep divisions within ENUGU state chapter of the party. Now, with us in the studio this morning is Dr. SKC Obonia, the NDC senatorial aspirant for ENUGU West Senatorial District and public affairs commentator. He's here to tell us exactly what is happening in NDC. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good morning.
Now, before we get into the NDC primaries, I'd like to get your thoughts on two issues happening in the country currently. First is the South Africa's xenophobic attack on Nigerians, and then, the party's demand for Gbajabiamila's resignation following the PFIPC controversy.
Well, on the South African issue, I sympathize with fellow Nigerians trapped in South Africa, but we should hold ourselves squarely responsible for the unfortunate scenario. If the country is going well, running well, we have no business exploring opportunities in South Africa and the dimension we're doing. These fellow Nigerians are there because of failure of governance in Nigeria, which is not supposed to be. Nigeria is supposed to be the giant of Africa, and not the other way around. Yep.
Then about the PFIPC controversy and the party's call for the resignation of Gbajabiamila.
Well, in a normal climb, we should be asking for Tinubu to resign, not Gbajabiamila. That's his employee, and it appears he's protecting him. So why I'm not going to attempt to blame, why I will not, of course, excuse Gbajabiamila, the person who should be responsible for the unfortunate situation is the president himself. He knows what is going on. They're hiding something, and they should come clean to the Nigerian people and let us know
where the problem began and how it can end.
Okay, now let's go to the NDC primary election for nomination of candidates. Now, as a senatorial aspirant in the party, I'd like you to tell us exactly what are the contending issues.
Well, it's not supposed to be contending issues. We had primaries in May 29 to be precise. We were told to go to the field. We mobilized people, like myself, I mobilized people in the 5 different local governments that make up ENUGU West. People came out in mass. Unfortunately, there was no INEC and there was no party officials in the various locations where we participated. So the conclusion is there was no direct primary in ENUGU State. And there was no attempt for consensus whatsoever. So we do hope at the appropriate time, the party leadership will revisit ENUGU State and do a measure of consensus so we can have our candidates emerge. Because any candidate being nominated under the current circumstance will be invalidated at the courts in line with the electoral law.
And you and some other aspirants issued a communique weeks ago, which, among other things, denounced the action. So what prompted the communique and what was the outcome?
The reason why the aspirants rose is because they felt like nobody was doing the needful to correct the imbalance in the ENUGU affair. If the party leadership was paying attention, especially those in ENUGU State under Dr. Okwinwodo, there wouldn't have been any reason whatsoever for the aspirants to meet. This is not supposed to be so complicated. We did not have primaries. We didn't have consensus. What does it take, therefore, to convene an arrangement for consensus so people can understand how we can emerge? Right now, we don't have any candidate in ENUGU State, and we cannot have a candidate in ENUGU State because there was no direct primary and there was no consensus.
Now, NDC is a party that has, presented itself as a vehicle that will usher change in Nigeria, and also seeing that Peter Obi is also part of the party. Everybody is expecting a lot. With what is happening now in the ENUGU State chapter of this party, I mean, with these developments, where exactly does the NDC stand? Does it still hold that hope that Nigerians are looking forward to?
Well, NDC is Nigeria Democratic Congress, and that's what it remains. It was founded on a vision of hope, on a vision of democratic principles, and it's going to continue to be that way. However, we have some challenges, like any other party is having now. But what is important is how to make sure that these challenges are taken care of in time before we destroy ourselves. We don't want to be self-destruct.
So what is the way out of this crisis?
The way out is that I have confidence. We have confidence in our national leader, Serek Dixon. We also have confidence in Mr. Peter Obi. At the same time, they can find a way to come down to ENUGU and listen to the people, listen to the aspirants, so we can make amend and move forward.
Now, let's also look at, internal democracy, because political parties such as the NDC preach democracy nationally, but from what we're seeing, there's also a struggle to practice it internally. How does this ENUGU experience illustrate that contradiction?
Well, the contradiction is not supposed to be, and it's not supposed to be so complicated. The party knows the people who are squarely responsible for the challenges we have in ENUGU State. The leadership of ENUGU State is under His Excellency, Dr. Okwinwodo. Unfortunately, the gentleman is why he's in Abuja. The likes of one General Zinta, the likes of John Nwokabia, the likes of Matthias Ome, and they are doing the party wrong. There's extensive, massive extortion of money from candidates, from aspirants in ENUGU State. These young boys who are venturing into politics for the first time, they are taking advantage of them. They have receipts of payments, millions of money. These people extorted millions of money from these young aspirants, and nobody's doing anything about it. So my advice to our brother Peter Obi, so come home. Mr. Obi, come home. Charity begins at home. Come down to Enugu State and listen to the people and see if we can correct the challenges here taking place in Enugu State. Let's do the right thing from home before we preach outside.
Now, you've mentioned the issue of extortion, but I'd also like you to speak on the candidate imposition. What gave rise to those accusations that candidates were being imposed on the party?
Well, of course, if there are no extortions, there may not be imposition. For candidates to be imposed, there might have been some either extortion or maybe godfatherism or other factors. But the fact of the matter is that we have not followed the principles of internal democracy. You may not know my background. I made my reputation being an ardent advocate of electoral integrity. And so I stand to lead the aspirants to make sure that the right things are done in Enugu State. Even if you give me the ticket to Enugu West, which I know is likely going to happen, I will reject it unless we go and do the right thing. If we don't follow the right internal party democracy channels, the chances are that even if I win, the opposition may reclaim it at the tribunal. So I do not want them to favor me, which I know could happen, and hand the ticket to me, only to lose it to the opposition post-election. Yeah.
So, as an aspirant, you are directly involved. So I'd like to get a feel of what exactly disappointed you the most about this process. And would you say that this experience has affected your confidence in NDC as a political platform?
Well, I'm not the type that gets easily discouraged. I do believe that every problem has a solution. So I'm prescribing solution as we speak. And the solution is not that so complicated like I said before. What it takes is that the leaders to march down to Enugu. Let us sit down and talk about the problems and how to get out of the problems. Again, we have to pay attention to the electoral laws. According to the electoral law, Electoral Act of 2026, the only two ways you can produce candidates through the primaries, one is direct primary, two is consensus. We haven't done any of this. So what is delaying the party leadership to come down here and do the needful? I'm beginning to wonder, however, if we are really working to win or just working to run.
Now, the party leadership, just like you've mentioned, is under heavy criticism. In your assessment, what should the leaders have done differently? What should they have done, as with regards to the party's primaries, like you said, differently?
Well, like you know, NDC is a new party. When Peter Obi moved into NDC with Alhaji Kwankwaso, over 10 million people moved into NDC overnight, within 24 hours. That's not easy to manage. But at the same time, as we are, let's talk about Enugu State. In case of Enugu, especially Enugu West, where I come from. What does it take to get the candidates that are for the senatorial race together? Mr. Peter Obi, I'm addressing this to you. What does it take to get down to Enugu? Get these candidates together. Let us see who we can select among them and why. I'm sure our people will listen. Reason why I'm pointing this to my brother Peter Obi is because we've spoken to the national leader many times, and he said that the southeast zone, that Peter Obi is in control there. So since our brother Peter is in control of the southeast, what does it take to come down to Enugu and get this matter resolved before it gets out of hand?
All right, now we'll continue this conversation, but we'll go on a break first, and when we return, the show continues.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket. Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
Welcome back. We're still with Dr. SKC Ogbonnia, the NDC senatorial aspirant for ENUGU West Senatorial District and public affairs commentator. Now, before we went on that break, we're talking about, the intra-party crisis concerning the NDC and the primaries. So you've mentioned, about what is happening so far in the party and the irregularities, but I'd like you to expand further and give us a bit more detail about what is playing out currently in the NDC.
Well, I cannot claim not to know that we have problems in the NDC, especially in Enugu State. A good example is the election to the Senate we had about 2 weeks ago in Enugu North. Because the candidate that was there appeared to have been imposed. And we saw what the outcome was. NDC, a party of P2B, only garnered 3,000 votes in a senatorial zone that's supposed to be the bedrock of obedient movement in the country. As you may know, Nsukka zone, which is the ENUGU North, is the home to the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, where P2B attended. And it has a very mass organic following in that particular zone. And we garnered only 3,000 votes, where APC was getting 162 votes. I can understand we can point to rigging or what have you, but 3,000 votes. If they are rigging, we should be able to know how to rig too. I'm not encouraging rigging, but what might have happened, we didn't have anybody to defend our votes. I do not want what happened in 2023 to happen again, where we may be the popular party, we may have the popular candidate, but have nobody to defend the vote. By the way, if we said we were not interested in the ENUGU North, why did we feature a candidate? Why did we feature a candidate? Why do we go into elections we know we cannot win? How come Brother Peter didn't come to campaign for the candidate? How come we did not see the national leader to campaign for the candidate? So were we planning to lose? If we are planning to lose, what sense does it make that we featured a candidate at all? But it goes back to what I said earlier. That is a practical example of what happens when you impose people against the will of ordinary people. You don't impose candidates that way. Even though that Bishop Osai, might have been a good man, unfortunately, the process that produced him, people were not comfortable with it. And instead, people might have probably walked against the party. When you impose an unpopular candidate in the process, there is going to be serious problems during the election time. Now it happened in ENUGU North, it could happen in ENUGU West, and it could also happen in the ENUGU East. So we still have time to correct this problem, to resolve the situation in ENUGU. Because even though that ENUGU State is obedient, but we shouldn't take things for granted. We shouldn't take things for granted. Mr. P2B had to care about the down ballots. What I mean are the down ballots are the governorship candidates, the senatorial aspirants, the federal house, the House of Assembly, and what have you. Even if we produce P2B as our next president, he needs those down ballots to be able to govern well. And he should pay more. So that's why it's not only ENUGU State, he should also visit Imo, Anambra, and elsewhere, or where we're having this type of problem, especially when the national leader has said that P2B is in control of the Southeast. So he's in charge, and we expect him to do the needful.
But do you think P2B coming down to the Southeast will significantly solve the issues? Because he can't be everywhere at the same time, and I mean, it's left for the party and the party leaders in that particular state to handle the affairs. So do you think that P2B can successfully make sure that the entire Southeast NDC doesn't have inter-party issues?
Well, in my last book, Effective Leadership Formula, I defined a good leader as somebody who makes somebody who says no to say yes. That's influence. Being able to influence people to understand why they would do this or do that. Peter has that capacity, and he should have that capacity if he wants to be the Nigerian president, to be able to say, look guys, why are we not doing the right thing?